Hello, everyone. This is Mario Hardy, aka DJ Ragtop. We have Erica, excuse me, Lord, Eric, and Marcella. I don't know what I don't know how that came out that way. And then we also have Lisa with us. So everyone say hello.
Hello.
Hello,
Hello.
everyone. Good evening.
So today we are going to be talking about guns in 2023, and pretty much what is your pretty much trying to get an idea of what do people think about all the stuff that's going on in today's society with guns. So Eric, Marcella, let y'all start off first. What's your opinion on guns for
I think it's
2023?
my opinion on guns is two different things. Number one, it's really gotten out of control because I feel like now everybody is able to even more now. Everybody's able to get their hands on guns, and I think it's a problem with the government because it's like guns. It's like now they're making laws to where it's easier to even get guns, and the epidemic. It's really a sad epidemic because now, and we didn't hear it so much, but now every day on the news, you are hearing something somewhere in the world where someone was killed by a gun or multiple people was shot by a gun, and it's just getting out of control. It's really scary.
It's totally chaotic. There's no type of controls in it. You wanna. It's weird. The people who shouldn't have them, you make it easy for them to get them, and the people that go through the process to get it correctly, you bear down the brunt of the rules on them. It doesn't make sense. But what does make sense is you put your money glasses on, and they there are guns are a multi-billion-dollar business. Okay, so this is what they do. Okay, we're gonna ban 9 millimeter hollow points in September. So what do people do? They run to the stores and buy all the 9 millimeter hollow points before they sell out. Okay, we get ready to ban shotguns, and it's the same thing over and over again. Or the same thing happens when people are being oppressed, or for instance, hey, I'm not taking this no more. What they do? They rush and go buy them. Just like in 2011 when they opened up the Freedom Crossing that Friday, by that Monday, they made over 250 grand in just weapons and just gun sales, just like that. It's big business, so it's gonna be part of the loot. We just have to make our congressmen responsible for regulating it. But see, what people don't realize, the NRA is backing a whole lot of different politicians because of all the money made. That's why ain't nobody went back and said, hey, this is what needs to happen, because it should not be on the gun seller to do background checks. It should be like they've been doing, go to the sheriff office. And another mistake they made is doing local background checks and not national background check. Because if you've never done that locally, it ain't gonna show up. But if you do it nationally, then you can cut down for people who getting them who not supposed to have them. But that also means that somebody has to stand up and say, this is what we're gonna do. It's out of control. It can be fixed. It's just they gotta want to fix it.
Lisa, what's your intake on guns in 2023?
Well, I can say this. Guns have been illegally transported and given in the street world. They get them, before anyone can get them legal, get them done legally. So, um, and unfortunately, it was made possible for them to have them to be unlegal, to be, get them illegally. So, um, the violence has always been there. It's increased more because of mindset of people, the heart of people. It's about me I don't care what you say, what you've done. It's about me. And if it's about me, I feel I have more power if I have a gun. And I'm speaking of that's the inside of what I see. And because of that, people feel they have power because they have guns. People think, I don't care. I've been to jail several times, so what difference is it gonna make? And that's the sad thing. That's the thing about it. When we allow one person to remove prayer and God out of the schoolhouses, it has been a ripple effect throughout the years. And because of that, that's why we having so many shootings in our schools. That's why we have so many shootings in our communities, because we're not concerned for one another like we were when we were coming up, that the neighborhood, the community looked after not just their children, they looked at it after all children. And if you did wrong, the neighbor, it wasn't even spoken of, but the neighbor had the authority to chastise you, to even spank you if you were fine. But now, oh, you're not going to touch my child, or you're not going to do this, that, and the other. Well, that's why these children are out of control, and adult children of that. So we got to go back to the basis of the principles of allowing the community to be our village, instead of letting a gun speak, instead of letting people with warped mindsets, whether they have schizophrenia, bipolar, tripolar, whatever, to be able to purchase a gun. It should throughout, like Eric was saying, it should be monitored better. How do we monitor that better? They need not only a background check, but a mental check, because so many people have mental issues and not dealing with them. So it through across the board, it bothers me because our country has become so lenient and so freely to do and not do and let the silence. Because if you really look at it, the younger generation say the white man, but we're killing one another, and they're sitting back. Yeah, blame me, but go ahead and y'all kill one another. You doing my job good. And that's when our community as a Black nation will understand that. They will put those guns down. They will talk to each other. And we won't have many of our young Black men in the grave as today.
So right now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to read off some information. As of last year, we had 647 mass shootings. As of this year, we're at 160 mass shootings. Pretty much more than 160 mass shootings. So they're saying there's more mass shootings than there are days already that have been present in this year.
Wow.
One of the things I looked at in the statistics is that it's the type of gun that a lot of people have access. Like right now, they're really the what is it? The M oh, I can't even see what is that. It's kind of like it's the they're saying it's the same thing as the AR-15.
Yeah,
Which of course I think
AK-47.
it's like the AR-15 is one of the primary weapons used in a lot of these mass shootings. Then of course there's the handguns and things of that nature. To me, from everything I've been looking at today, it looks like it's like you can go and get an iPad easy, and a gun is just as easy. I mean, they're saying that's how easy it is. You can go out and purchase a gun like you're buying an iPad. So technology and guns go hand in hand, to where they're saying it's like they're trying to. I mean, it's kind of crazy how they try to connect the dots, but there's always, like, to me, it depends on who the person is connecting the dots, because you have one group trying to say it's video games, you have another group saying social media, then you got somebody else saying that it has something to do with power and authority. People feel as though if they have a gun, they have power and authority. And just like, I guess, the last shooting that they were talking about that was kind of extreme was how the child, or I guess, the individual went to the wrong house to pick up their siblings. And I think the 80-something-year-old man shot the child in the head and in the arm. It was like a And like, for what? Because it was a mistake. Um, do y'all think it's the people? It has a lot to do with the people who have access to these guns.
It, for me, it starts at the top. Everybody wants to say it's a problem, but the ones who can stop it aren't doing anything because you got this thing called kickback. If you look at every case, it's just like in New Mexico, they went to the wrong house and killed the owner. To the wrong house and killed the owner. To the wrong house. As a 65-year-old dude, I think it was New York, killed a 20-year-old girl. Her and 3 friends was in the car. They just turned around in the driveway. Just turn around. They were lost. Turn around. Shot twice into the car. Killed her. She died. She died. They pulled over. They found a town like a couple of miles away, and she died right there at the scene. We have to make these folks accountable because if you look at every case, it was an absolute failure of the top brass, and nobody did nothing. What was the Texas shooting? The Florida shooting? The cops were on site and did nothing. There was a cop there and did nothing. With the multiple kids that got killed, what was it, Texas?
Mm-hmm.
They did nothing. They waited an hour to respond. We can't go in there or whatever. That's not in keeping with the oath that you took. But we're not holding them accountable. We're just another day at the office. We're not holding them accountable. And it's to the point now where it's totally and utterly out of hand. It ain't just no here and there. Every day is something. The 6-year-old that shot the teacher, he was inspected by 3 adults before he went to the classroom. And not one of them found it. That was in his book bag. Not one of them found it. But yet he was able to shoot a teacher in the chest. That is a total and utter failure. And nobody's being held accountable. That's what's wrong with society now. Nobody's being held accountable. We're more worried about damn pronouns than we are about the health of people. It's sad what the focus goes to. You want me to apologize to an 11-year-old for calling her a she and not asking her what pronoun you would like to be called. I mean, really?
And let me say something too. We also have to stop being confused about, because you have different states that have stand your ground, okay? And then you have to wonder that a lot of people that's using guns, sometimes a lot of them hate crimes. You know what I'm saying? You're just shooting because of the fact that because you can. And then I think they were saying something about where they're gonna possibly make it to where teachers can carry guns to school, right? And I think that you have to kind of weigh that, because I think that's gonna be an issue, because I understand that nowadays teachers, they don't get paid enough to deal with a lot of things that they're dealing with when it comes to school, right? But if you have that one teacher that already goes to school with an attitude, because a lot of times teachers are not always, it's some teachers out here that are mean. It's some teachers out here that are prejudiced, they racist and stuff like that. And you just giving them a reason. And you can just have that, child just having a bad day that day. And instead of you trying to get to the root of the problem and figure out what's going on with that child, the first thing you want to do is pull a gun out and shoot that child because you felt like you had all the rights to do that. So we just got to figure, like, people that are using guns, like my husband said, hold certain people accountable, because that 80-year-old man that shot that young boy, he need to be held accountable. The young man that shot the young lady, shot into the car because they pulled into the wrong driveway, they need to be held accountable, because everything is not stand your ground. And just because you think that at that moment I'm able to stand my ground, then everybody gonna be shooting each other,
And another problem is, just like everything else, we're taking a term, we're taking it out of context and bending it to our own understanding. Stand your ground means it was you or them, and you decided to stand your ground and protect it. You don't just go shoot somebody. Stand your ground. He turned
What
around in my driveway. Stand your ground. No. That's not how standing your ground works. You can't keep it. To be honest, it's just totally out of control. We should be like, what was it, China somewhere, where you can't even carry them at all. But see, they're not gonna do that, because if you look at the backing of the NRA, they're deep in the government, and this gun thing is gonna keep going. Why? Because they're making a killing. No matter what happens in society, the gun sales always go up. You ain't never heard, whoop, time to bail out the National Rifle Association because they filing for bankruptcy. You never heard that. You never will hear it. It's the end thing now. Buying guns. I mean, I have one, and I just protect my family. I'm not gonna go out there and waving and doing all this, because too many lives are ruined because of one dumb decision, and you will be surprised at how big of a miscommunication it is if you just put the gun down and talk. Stop making it about you. Stop saying, "Oh, I don't care." Yeah, you don't care until you get that sentence.
Again,
I
it's the
mean,
mindset of people.
it's
The mindset of people have been warped.
yes.
And it's the unfortunate that our young men feel that they are empowered if they have a gun, and I'm gonna show you better than I can tell you, instead of sitting down and conversing with one another. The worst thing I do after one or two texts, you say, "Hey, what are you doing?" or "Are you busy?" The next thing I'm doing is calling, because first of all, I'm not going to text a whole conversation with nobody. And that's the mindset. We're not in tune or in touch with humanity like we were. And we did a lot of communication. If you want to talk to Lisa, you may find, "Hey, ask me if I'm busy." And if I say no, the next thing you need to do is either call me or you're going to get a call. And don't ignore the call and say, "Hey, I just want to text," because you're not getting another text, because you can texting can be read wrong, or the level of my tone can be read wrong. So I'm saying all that to say, it's just the mindset of people and feeling that hey, I got a gun. You looked at me. Oh, you stepped on my brand new kicks. So pow, pow, pow. Or you looked at my girl, and the person probably didn't even look at their girl, but because you feel that way, or your insecurities, again, the mindset, pow, pow, pow. So we got to go back to the basis of people. If you're sick in your mind, go get medicated. If you need counseling, go get counseling, because at the end of the day, it's a ripple effect. Because if you shoot someone, it bothers that person that got shot, whether they're dead or alive, their family, and all those connected to them. And then because you're behind bars, your family is impacted, and it's just a ripple effect. It has to stop.
Nobody wins. Everybody loses. And a simple conversation. We went from the village to social media. I'm getting ready to pull up. He just typed this on social media. I'm getting ready to pull up. For what? I mean, really? He texted me this. Oh, he broke up with me through a text message. What? We have gone away from what works, and that's talking to people. I prefer to talk to people, and if I can, face to face. I mean, I'll settle for on the phone, but face to face, all this texting back and forth, man, that takes too much. If you got a problem, just tell them, "Hey, Lisa, I don't like what you said. I don't agree with it. This is oh, okay. Well, brother, I'm sorry. X, Y, and Z, and be done. Next time I see her, it's on site." What?
And to piggyback off of what Lisa just said, I am so sympathetic and empathetic when it comes to that, because for years, and I have a gun as well, for protection, but I never thought in a million years that I would really even want to touch a gun, because my brother was murdered with a gun. And again, like she said, not only did it impact my family,
Mm-hmm.
but it impacted the family of the young man that took my brother's life, all because of a simple fight. Him and my brother got into a fight. My brother won the fight. Um, and then he came back that Sunday at a basketball court and he shot my brother and he shot my brother friend. My brother friend ended up being paralyzed. He was shot in the back. My brother was shot in the neck. And he didn't have a chance, you know? And so still to this day, it's been 32 years ago, you know, but still to this day, it's just horrible. And every time I hear the news or someone getting shot, whether it be a teenager, it doesn't matter who it is. I am just so empathetic because I know what we've been through, you know. And like she said again, a gun, it's people try to handle it as like it's a toy. Like even, you know, you can either have concealed or you can carry it on your hip. And I think a lot of times when I'm out and I see people that have them on their hip, sometimes you can just look at their body language. It's like they feel like they just the big man on campus because, you know, everybody see their gun. You know what I'm saying? But again, it's a world problem. It's just not the next door neighbor problem, or it's a world problem. And it's something that it's something that really needs to be done because, like I said, I don't ever want to use it to take someone's life, but I'm just saying, you know, I do have to protect myself. But it seems like now it's the norm because every day we hear in some kind of way there's a mass shooting. And like you said, and then those last few instances that we talked about, to me, I feel like those were hate crimes. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, if somebody just ring my doorbell and they at the wrong house or whatever the case may be, at that moment you can kind of tell whether that's going to be a situation to where your family's being threatened, right? But for you just to shoot because you feel like you can do that, there has to be consequences. There has to be.
And I think that's the biggest problem is the laws don't match today's society.
Yes.
I think that's one of the biggest things is that, let's say, for example, if we put a law out there, if you kill somebody, then you will be killed. You will be, I mean, that to me, that would cut back, that would probably make an impact to where the laws, there's so many laws in place to where it makes it easy for someone to get off on shooting somebody. So let's say, like say for example, if you take somebody's life, then we'll take your life. And I think that's where capital punishment. I mean, I believe eye for eye. And so if you take somebody's life, then your life needs to be taken. You don't need to be sitting in a jail for taxpayers to pay for you to stay, and then you get out and then you're able to live your life, but the other person's gone. So to me, it should be one of those things. The laws are just, to me, it's not about having a gun. It's about what you do with that gun. And you got the right people, and you got the wrong people who have access to these guns. But to me, when it all comes down to it, if someone takes somebody's life, their life need to be taken as well, because it doesn't make sense. It's not fair. It's not fair for someone to go up and shoot somebody over something stupid, and they're able to still breathe on this earth.
Yeah,
I think that's something. I think if we had some laws, some very strict laws, that would be different. Like stand your ground. That's just justification to kill somebody. There should be no stand the ground. I mean, if your life is threatened, that means that person were trying to kill you, and you have to self-defense. That's one thing, but this stand your ground thing, just because you get an argument and you lose the argument, you're going to shoot somebody. That's what I say. I mean, to me, if the law was, if I kill you, then they're going to take my life, that would make someone think a little bit twice about, like, it's in some cases, not all cases, because mentally ill, it doesn't matter if there's laws and stuff in place, they're still going to do something stupid.
That's true.
So that's what I say. It only applies to certain days, but it will cut back because some of these people with these mass shootings, they knew they were going to die, so they're willing to risk their life. But some of these other shootings, like I said, the guy shooting the kid coming to the door wrong, that right there, that should be a crime. I'm hoping that he gets, I don't care how old he is, he will be put in prison. And I think that's the thing is, if you wound somebody for gun, okay, this 5 to 10 years, that's crazy. You should get 20 years, period, for shooting somebody. if the person lives and if they die, your life need to be taken. But again, that's what I say. The laws that we have in society, it just makes it easier for people to want to have guns, to want to do stupid things with guns.
And especially when the law don't apply to everybody the same.
It's broken. To change the laws would mean to revamp and admit an admission that the laws don't work, which they don't. We have the same laws since Lord knows how long, because you will get more time for attempted murder than actual murder. That's a fact. You will get more. You will get more for being caught with a certain amount of drugs. There are 2 brothers in jail now, 30 years for meth. Got caught with a certain with meth, 30 years. But you can go shoot 3 people and you'll get 15 to life with a possibility of parole. Or you think, well, that's good for him. He got death row. The average person stays 11 years, stays a little bit over a decade on death row before they get the call, because they can get caught up in court cases with the appeals. Once the appeals run out, 11 years, it shouldn't take that long. It should, but that the laws need to be revamped. They need to be redone. But that would be an admission that it's time. Change is good. Change is always good. How you gonna know something don't work if you don't change and try it? Because right now the laws don't work. That's why you got everybody and their mama with one.
Right.
Soon you're gonna be able to walk on aisle 9. Well, he was on aisle 8. That's why I shot him. Stand your ground. I mean, really?
They say,
Really?
and the one thing that they did say, and you just said something, maybe think about it. They said a civilian with a gun is worse than a soldier with a gun.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And again, it goes with the mindset of people. You know, you don't know what their mind, what has triggered them to have some issues in their mind. Case point scenario, I saw where an FBI officer, she got stopped on her way to work. And because these 2 officers felt that they were going to show her, you know, she's African American, they're white. And you know, they want to hold her up and will call them. You think you FBI, you're above us, you're above the law? No, she said, no, I gave you what you asked for. Are you going to give me a ticket or not? They gave her bogus ticket. She wasn't speeding. She told them she had a gun because she was on her way to work. She told them where the gun was. And because they asked her for her information, she said, I want you to see where I'm carefully getting ready to put my hands, because my gun is there with my ID and my badge. They had already drew their guns on her in uniform. So it's across the board of the mindset.
Yes.
With these good old boys feeling they have power. It's not even just in our community alone. It's officers against officers. It's across the board. And if you gonna go into the law enforcement, their whole mental need to be checked.
Yes.
And not only when they sign in and get the oath, but every year or every 6 months, their mental state need to be checked and examined, for the simple fact of stopping people, how you address people, and making someone else feel fearful of their life because you stopped me.
And because they have a God complex, because they feel like everything that I do is protected behind this badge. And I don't care what you say, how you feel, or how you're going to do it. No matter what I do to you, because I have this gun, because I have this badge, I'm going to get away with it. And it's that God complex as well.
Right. But it's a badge against another badge.
Yeah.
Because she worked for FBI and you work for the local county, you felt you had more authority. Authority is authority. You know, but I mean, we're really living in our last days.
Yeah.
The Bible's unfolding before our eyes.
Yes.
And if you don't have a relationship with Christ, you're going to fall. And I hate to say it like that, but that's what the word says. So we have to understand and be mindful of what's going on in the world, so that we can protect our families in the way we feel that we need to protect our families and loved ones. Because people mind, their hearts are wax cold. They don't care about you. Some of them don't even care about their grandparents. Some of them don't care about their parents. They don't care about their siblings, and they're ready to do whatever, trigger happy.
Well, and I think
So
that's
go ahead.
I think, and see, to me, it's our society as a whole. And that, to me, it's not about black, it's not about white, it's not about police officers. Because to me, it's like we have a society that promotes violence. Period.
Yes.
It doesn't matter what side of, like, if you're a police officer or not. It's like, I mean, I'm looking at it from different standpoints, because like you go right now, you go on Facebook, YouTube, any of these social media platforms, and you got these individuals promoting, and this is stuff that I'll sit back and why are you going to have an argument with a police officer? Why would you do that? And I think that's the part that's causing the whole society to get worse. We're like, when we sit back, when I was brought up, when a police officer stopped you, you're told to do certain things. You're taught to do certain things. Now in society, they're telling to argue with the police officers, question on what they were doing. I mean, why would, and see, that's what I'm saying. We're promoting an argument to where now the police officer is going to fear for their life, because this is not normal behavior. And so that's the problem that I have with society now, is that we're promoting violence. We're promoting to be rebellious against everything. You could have a good police officer to stop you, but because of how you act, they turn into what a lot of people want to say are bad cops, but they're thinking about that. They just want to go home and see their family. So when you have people acting, because I'm sitting back and you got to look at it like this: if I was a police officer and I pull you over and I walk up to your car just to let you know that you were speeding and you're acting crazy, what's the first thing gonna come to your mind?
But you know what,
Protect
Mario?
yourself.
But you know what,
You're gonna
Mario?
protect yourself. You're gonna do what's necessary to make sure you go home. And see, and I think that's
It's
the
based
thing
on
is,
who the
if,
color of that person is, though. A lot of times too.
but I mean, but still, again, I mean, I
No,
see it black white. But
yeah, no,
what
I
I'm
understand what
saying,
you're saying, but a lot of us ain't gonna be acting a fool too much. You know what I'm saying?
I mean,
But,
right?
yeah, I get what you're saying, though. You're right.
Because I think that's the thing is, like, when you argue, like, for example, if you argue with somebody over nothing, you immediately know there's something wrong with this person. There's something wrong with this person. All I'm doing is pulling you over to let you know you was going 5 miles over the speed limit, and you about to go to war over a speeding ticket. So then you got that, and I think that's what society is like. There's a difference to where if you're being mistreated by a police officer, but you go back and you look at some of these, what they're promoting is to automatically argue with the police officer regardless, and that's what's being promoted, and so that's where now society is so unstable to where anybody gets pulled over now can be a threat. And I think that's the society we live in, is that, like, okay, you got video games where you get points if you kill somebody. If you get points if you beat somebody up and take their car. I mean, these are all games that promote violence. Everything in our society promotes violence. So it doesn't. That's why I say it is that, like you said, you're right. It's end of days, but we're doing it to ourselves. Society is completely changing how we operate. It's like now we're going back to a wild, wild west.
Right. But it's the mindset, because vice versa. If I'm get pulled over and I'm cool, calm, and collected, and I do everything you ask me to do, then you feel, hey, well, let me go search her car. Let me plant something in her car. Let me put her in jail. I've done everything you asked of me. I'm not arguing with you, but you're a hostile police officer. It goes both ways. That's why I said, even wearing the uniform, whether you're FBI, whether you're a county or state officer, their mental needs to be checked periodically, because something could happen in their life that triggered their mindset to be warped. And now they're doing it and they're angry and they want the next person they can get, they can take advantage of, because you're doing what they ask you. then they feel empowered because and I'm going to do harm to you because a month ago this happened to me, but I'm not going to tell nobody. But my heart has changed. My mindset has changed. So I want to do harm to the next person I can get my hands on. And that's the mindset of anybody, whether you're a police officer or whether you're just a regular citizen. If something traumatic happened, your mindset can change at any given time. You know, so I've been through so many traumatic in my life, even down to last year. I'm not going to speak on it because I can't at this moment. But the thing of it is, my mindset has changed. It's not to harm anyone, but I'm so cautious. I have to be cautious, not to harm or hurt nobody. So your mindset will change through anything that you encounter, if it's a traumatic or a negative impact in your life. And people need to be aware. It's not that you are less than if you go get mental health. No, you need mental health, because the thing of it is, the more healthy you are in your mental state, you can handle life. You can handle situations and not be ready to pick up a gun and harm someone else.
But that's one of the biggest problems though in society, that again, our society is set up for failure because mental health, and especially in the black community, is never been, it's always been a negative thing to go seek help. And mental health, I mean, that's across the board. I don't care what, even in the military, um, if you try to go get mental health, that can hurt your career. I mean, they say it doesn't, but in a way it still does. So mental health has always been the negative approach to dealing with things. And now we're in society, we're trying to change that, but it's, to me, technically it's too late. They're not going to take time out to do mental, because like just what they're talking about now. We don't even have enough nurses to deal with just regular health care, better yet mental health. I mean, because like right now they're talking about there's a shortage on crisis management. When someone goes through a crisis, there's not enough people to do the jobs. So it's like our whole society is completely melting down to where if you don't take it upon yourself to do these things or to prepare, like now we're spending more and more money to protect ourselves. We're spending more and more money to prevent bad things to happening for us. Like you got people now got cameras in around their house. You got cameras in their cars. They got all this stuff to prevent. I mean, they're making a killing off of bulletproof. What is it? Bulletproof backpacks for your kids. I'm sitting thinking, what in the world? What society to where you got to put a bulletproof anything on your child just to make sure that they got a chance of living? Keyword chance. That is not going to protect them 100%, but it's chance. But then you got other countries like South Korea, for perfect example, where no one's allowed to have a gun. So it's like, so our society is completely, I don't care what anyone says, there's no way the way things are going, they're not going to change. They're not going to change. The politicians,
Money.
It's all about the money. So
it's all about. It's always.
I don't care who you vote for, Democrat, Republican, it don't matter.
It don't matter.
It's always been about money.
Always
so
been.
Money is what's killing our society across the board, and the gun is just an instrument that just makes it happen faster.
Yep.
Because go ahead.
It's a total failure from the top. Like I keep saying over and over again, it's a failure from the top. You know, like we talked about weeks ago, it's conflict resolution, or you can say de-escalation. Nobody wants to do it. They want it to elevate because we're not holding people accountable. Because there has to be a policy. I guarantee you, there's a policy for them cops that pulled over that FBI. I guarantee there's a policy in place for that, because the FBI is federal, so they automatically outrank you. So when she said FBI, the first thing you should have did was, "Where's your badge at, ma'am?" And then go from there. You can't just say, "Well, I'm gonna do this, do this," because and again, what is the FBI gonna do to fix their problem? and we're not forcing people to give us an answer on anything. All we do is we see it happen, and then say, "Oh well, so now he shouldn't have done it," and then we go about our business. It starts from the top, but for the top to change, you have to be willing to accept change, and to accept change says that, "Oh yeah, I made a mistake. I could have done it better." No, it's just change. It's okay to admit it. It's okay to admit it, but until we wipe the money from our eyes and our head, it's gonna continue to be this way, and it's gonna continue to get worse. We're not. This society is not proactive; it's reactive. Because you don't make any money being proactive. You make money being reactive, which makes no sense. You will make more money because you're gonna avoid it. But they figure it's the other way around. Let's wait till something happens before we do something. So then I can say that, oh yeah, this is what I came up with, and with this doctors and nurses and stuff, you saying there's a shortage, but the ones that are there, you're overworking them. I mean, there has to be a fix somewhere, but nobody wants to take the bull by the horns and say, hey, I got a plan. Let's try this. I got a plan. Let's do this. Everybody want to just stay in their corner and just complain about it and do nothing, which is why everything is getting progressively worse, and it's not going to get better until there's acknowledgement and change.
It's never going to get better because money, like I said, money, like you look at it now, they promote, like, okay, you get in an argument with a police officer, they violate your rights, you get a check. Everything is, every solution now is money. Someone actually, police go in, actually kill the wrong person. Okay, the city turns around, gives them money. I mean, it's like they're not looking at the problem. They're just looking at money as the solution to everything.
Because there'll be an acknowledgement of wrongdoing. Right. It just did in New Mexico. They went to the wrong house and killed the owner. Wrong house. You killed the owner of the wrong house. The whole chain of command should be lit up for that. Oh, nope, don't say nothing. Talk to your union rep. Don't talk to nobody. And we just leave it at. Yep, no, somebody needs to answer for that.
It's justified. Like I said, it's justified. Just give them some money and it solves the problem.
It is a total failure.
That's why I say our society is never going to get any better. I mean, and that's what I say. It comes down to the gun. Who holds the gun? Again, guns. The United States is so flooded with legal and illegal guns that I don't care what people say. The guns problem is never going to go away. It's never going to go away. Because it's so easy to get guns. It's so easy. I mean, it's like legal or illegally. So like I said, you can get a gun just like you're going to buy an iPad. I mean, so it's like there's no reason, and that's why I say it's like at this point in time, it's just about making more laws that are reasonable, not these stupid laws to where stand your ground, that which gives people justification to shoot people just because they had an argument. I mean, so it's just like the laws. You can't take the guns away from people, but the laws can be very strict.
Yes,
be extremely stricter than what they are. But again, is Congress, and see, to me, Congress is a waste of time because Congress is they're never going to do anything right. They're never going to get it right. They're just never going to do what's necessary to protect our people in general.
Because it don't affect them.
And we're not holding them accountable. We're not holding them accountable. We need to start holding people accountable. We're not doing that. It's a government for the people, by the people. We don't let the government think it's all about them. It's not. It's never been about them. We just let them get to that point. We just let them get to it. It's a total, the whole structure is broken from the top down, not from the bottom up. It's from the top down. It's broken. And nobody wants to admit it. You see it everywhere. You see it in the stores. You see it in the military. You see it in corporate America. The top is broken. And nobody wants to say that because I don't want to be that guy.
Well, the thing is, all the systems are broken.
Yes.
Every single system is broken.
Absolutely.
We got problems in social media. We got problems in mental health. We got problems with health. We got problems with jobs. Even though they keep saying that the rate for unemployment is low, that to me doesn't mean nothing. It's like we all can get a job, but is it doing anything to help us live? You got
That's
people that
right.
work 2-3 jobs to make a living. So it's like, so to me, it's not everything that they're trying to get. I guess you said get golden stars for mean nothing. You can have the lowest unemployment rate, but if you're not making more than $15 an hour, you really can't make it. So the whole system is completely broken.
Smoke and
And
mirrors.
taking guns from people. I mean, at this point, it's like you can make it harder for people to get guns. You can make it like I think it should be a lot more like if you take somebody's life. I think those laws need to really be changed. Like my thing is this: you take somebody's life, they're gonna take your life.
Hmm.
That's what should be.
But the way it is it's so backwards. Like I said earlier, you get more time for attempted murder.
Right.
What country is that? I'm sorry. What country is it that where if you steal, they cut off the hand that you stole?
Middle East.
There's
Middle
countries
East.
that does
Yeah.
that. Like if you do whatever you do, that you're gonna be at that moment.
You're gonna be punished for what you did. Right.
Yes.
But we're taught to look down on them though. Ain't this something?
Well, and as much as we want to be combative against China, guns are illegal there.
That's right.
Right.
That's
And
right.
so, when you start, I think that's one of those countries that if you get caught with a gun, it's like corporal punishment for
Yes.
that because
Right.
it's illegal.
Mm-hmm.
And so I agree with what y'all are saying. It's not that someone wants to take away your right to bear arms, but if you don't mental health check to bear an arm, you need to be able to go through those things because every time we turn around, somebody talking about, oh, they were mentally ill, but they was able to. Georgia is so bad now. You don't even have to have a concealed license to carry. You just go get a gun.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, they're making it easy for us to go back to the
So
Wild Wild West.
Brian Kemp, when he was trying to get reelected, I don't know if a lot of people know that you don't even have to have a concealed license to carry in Georgia.
Right.
Wow.
That's
And
crazy.
there's no rules anymore about where you can carry a gun and in Georgia. You can just have your gun out on your person anywhere in Georgia.
That's crazy.
No background, no concealed license to carry, no nothing. You just, like Mario said, it's like the Wild Wild West.
Yeah.
And
That's what it's gonna be like. That's pretty much and it's funny that we look at all the science fiction movies about the future, and guess what? All those movies, everybody's carrying guns. So it's like,
Mhm.
I mean, it amazes me that how these movies are predicting our future because everything now is going to get to the point where you're going to have to carry a gun with you no matter who you are.
Oh, I do. Because I just don't trust nobody. I gotta come home to my family, and I'm gonna come home to my family. I'm not gonna deal with the stupidity of society. I'm not gonna do it. I'm not. And see, when we were raised, they say you never point a gun at anybody. That's an unwritten rule. You never point a gun at nobody. You're not gonna use it. That went out the window right now. They be riding down the road and flash it with you, flash it in front of you. Like, I mean, it's like it don't make
Did you
sense.
guys see? I don't know if it made. Did it make y'all's news in Fayetteville? What was it? Sunday morning or Saturday morning at 3 a.m. A state patrol trooper got shot in his face.
Yeah,
No.
I saw that.
Yeah, he got shot in his face, and then that person went on a high-speed chase, crashed into somebody's house at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Wow.
That
So
was
you sleep. Wasn't it in Orangeburg, Mario?
I believe it was. Like I said, it was on. Hold on, it was on the news outlet. It was. I just saw that. It was.
It was a. It happened 3 a.m. They got pulled over for speeding and shot the black state trooper in the right side of his face. Took off. They did a high speed chase. One of the other state troopers got involved, and they crashed into the person's house
because the state trooper was black. He was.
Yep, he was black. Nice looking black man. Shot him in the side of his face. And the fact that they haven't shown a picture of the person who did all this says everything that needs to be said.
That's why it ain't always on the news.
Of course.
Yeah.
But yet you will make sure it's published that a white supremacist has he was doing something, speeding or something. I don't remember what it was. Well, he's going in on the cops until the black policemen show up. He started going in on him, calling him the N-word and everything. Not one
In
of
the
them
world.
policemen stood, not one of the cops stood up and protected him. Matter of fact, one of them was
Oh,
even
wow.
laughing at the fact that the dude was going in on him like that. So, like I
Wow.
said, it's broke. The system is broken.
It's broke.
The
Yep.
laws are too old. It need to be revamped. Nobody wants to do conflict resolution, the most important thing in your life. Conflict resolution. Nobody wants to do it. Everybody running from it. See, it's all
What?
fun and games till you get that sentence.
And I think also one of the things you got to look at too is that right now nobody wants to do these jobs that require to endanger their life. Right now the biggest problem they're having for police officers is nobody wants the job. So guess who wants those jobs? People who have mental issues, people who have power issues. So all the wrong people getting a job because, like, I mean, who wants to go to a job where I'm already guilty that I'm a crooked crock. I'm already guilty that I'm not going to do the right thing. I'm already guilty because here it is now. You go into a profession where no one trusts you, and so who wants a job like that? So that's why I said you're not getting, and so only ones going in this job are trigger happy people that want power and authority. So we got the wrong people going into these positions that control guns. They have access to use their gun, and then the law
Or
is
wasn't
on
it in
their
North
side.
Carolina?
Say again?
Wasn't it North Carolina where the black man became the police chief, and then the two white employees or police officers got caught talking about niggers and such? But
Yeah,
it
I
wasn't
think
until
so.
they had a
Yeah,
black chief.
yeah.
Was that in North? So
yeah, that was in
that
North
goes
Carolina.
back to your point, Mario, that they have been hiding in plain sight all those years.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's why I say that all the so my thing is that's what I say our whole society is messed up because you got all the wrong people who want these jobs that they to where it gives them a license to kill. Then you
Yep.
got the wrong one, like I say, because nobody wants to deal with the mental issue. So there's a shortage on mental counselors. There's a shortage on nurses. Like, I mean, my thing is when they said they were talking about like when people get raped, there's supposed to be a crisis manager. They don't even have people for those jobs.
Nope.
There's a shortage on that. There's a high demand for those jobs. They're now pushing it. I mean, then look at the teacher situation. Nobody wants to be a teacher anymore because nobody want to deal with no bad kids. I mean, so that's why I say it's like everything that is supposed to make our society better. Nobody wants to do those jobs anymore,
No,
and so they're
because
just accepting anybody
yeah.
to
If you
do
look
these
at
jobs.
nurses, the nurses, what they're not telling you is that the nurses was burned out.
Yep.
COVID killed the nurses
Yeah.
because you got the ones that want to be a nurse, that want to help people. You beating them upside the head every time they come in. Okay, I got a life. Even if I don't have kids, I still got a life. So I just did an 8-hour shift. You want me to do a double, so I'm doing 18 hours. So where's my help at? Where's my help? What am I supposed to do? You got teachers that have master degrees and totally changed their career because you getting beat up for what? You're not getting paid enough money to get beat up like you are, like you are. And again, it's a failure from the top.
And I think too, as far as like even when we going back to the school teachers, if we start holding these parents accountable as well, because now you have these teenagers, they go into the school and they fighting the teachers, they disrespectful,
knowing the rules, telling you what you can't do.
Yes, and like you said, a lot of teachers. I feel like if you hold the parent accountable for the things that these children do, I guarantee these parents will parent. I guarantee they were parent.
Well,
In the
Well, I'm gonna
UK,
say
something we
this
need
once
to
again.
understand too, y'all may not know from the outside of the teacher perspective, when teachers get accused, they're guilty until proven innocent.
Oh,
So
we
they
know.
don't get right. They don't
Yeah.
We
get
know
the
that. We know that pretty well being in the military.
yeah.
So
They're
I'm gonna say this
guilty.
once again.
Yeah.
Go ahead,
Yeah.
Lisa.
I'm gonna just say once again, it's the mindset. And I know
Yeah.
Mario said it's a shortage, but honestly, every school has a school psychologist. How do I know? I have a friend. She works in Brunswick County in Georgia. She travels from Florida and she works there. She works two um elementary, two middle, two high schools, and she rotates and she has assistants. So, but the thing of it is, again, it's the mindset of people. When you see the behavior and she tests and follows the behavior, and when she gets with the parents and say, hey, we evaluated and this is what's going on, the parents are first in denial
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
and then
Cussing
they
her
don't
out
want to
probably.
get the child the proper help
Right.
because they didn't get no help.
Right.
And then you find out, oh, well, Johnny is acting like that because dad is like that. Dad has the same traits. Dad never got help. So it's not that it's a shortage of help. Nobody wants to go get the help
Get the
Right.
when
help.
it comes to
Yep.
mental health.
That's what I was saying, and that's what I'm saying. I mean, there's a double deuce though, because you're right. There is a major shortage, but at the same time, nobody wants to go get help because that's how they were taught. That's what they were. You need to suck it up and deal with it. I mean, I know that's how it is in the military. The military has plenty of mental health, but guess what?
Mhm.
Nobody goes because that the culture is, if you go get mental help, you're weak. You're not a leader. So that culture, I mean, it exists in the black community, exists in industries. So until we start making those changes, it's just not going to happen. But I know
Mm-mm.
it's 7:30 now, so I guess we'll go ahead and wrap this one up.
Yep.
Just one quote. Everyone have a last little thing, and we'll go through real quick. Eric, Marcel, let y'all start first, and then we'll go to Lisa, and then we'll go to Coach T.
Well, I just want to say, guns is an epidemic, and like I said, it's never going to be a problem until certain graphic people are really being affected by that. And so it takes a whole village and stuff like that, and we don't want to actually talk or do conflict resolution. We just want to pull out a gun and we want to shoot. And I know every aspect of it, where, like I said, I lost a brother to gun violence.
Eric.
Um, like I said, the biggest takeaway from this is it starts at the top. The problem is at the top. Once the top acknowledges, then we can move on. We're in a society where a teacher has to apologize to some 11-year-olds because she referenced a little girl to the wrong pronoun. That's a system broken at the top. So I say that because it conflict resolution, it has disappeared. It is no longer there. And you think to resolve the conflict, I can go to Mario and say, hey, I don't like what you said about such and such. Okay, I got that. Granted, I apologize. Go on and move forward. No, instead, I don't like what Mario said, so I'm ready to go shoot up his house. Well, I just wanted to scare him. I didn't mean for nobody to get hurt. And that right there is we're in a sad case. We're in a sad state of affairs. You just like Lisa was saying, you can't tell somebody something's wrong with their child now. They're gonna want to fight you or be straight denied, like she said. It's not getting any better, and it's got to come from the top.
Lisa.
Well, I don't I agree to a certain degree with coming from the top, but it starts in our community, and we live in our communities, and we can be on these types of platforms, we can go to the other types of platforms, but until we make a change in our community and get help people with resources, it's not going to change. It
Mm.
starts with us, just like with our children going to school. It starts with us with their behavior. And if we don't do anything to make a change in our children's behavior and we go attack the teachers, then we're wrong. We have
Mm-hmm.
to be a mindset of people coming together, being on one accord in unity to see what we can do to make a change in our communities.
Tisha.
I'll say that starting with Lisa mentioned the mental health, that's the biggest piece. Coaching from a fitness and nutrition perspective, understanding that mind has to change is the biggest thing. I heard someone say you can't educate your emotions. So a lot of us are making emotional decisions, this murdering, this killing. A lot of it is emotional. I do feel we need to put more stringent checks in place for people to be able to bear arms. There needs to be some type of psych evaluation. I don't know how to do that. Like Lisa said, start in the community, start doing some research. But everybody does not need to bear arms. Some people are just not mentally capable or able to rationalize and reason to be able to have a gun. So there needs to be something in place as far as with the teachers in schools. I do think that needs to be reevaluated. Teachers should not be guilty until proven innocent. They should be given the same justice as anybody else, that they're innocent also until proven guilty, not the other way around. So as parents, I think we can speak up. Like Lisa said, it starts in the community, and speak up for these teachers, stand up for these teachers, stand up for our children. And just try to do a better job being honest and transparent about things as well.
Mario.
All I'm gonna say is our society is completely busted from the top to the bottom, from the bottom to the top. It's just completely busted. Right now, the most important thing in society is money and entertainment. What you see on social media, you got people getting killed and dying just to be entertained. You got like other things that are in place because it's all about the money. Our society has changed. The village no longer exists anymore. There's only in certain places, like you said, it starts with the community.
Mm-hmm.
And in the community, I mean, I've been sitting here in Fayetteville doing a lot of community work, and even at this level, at the community level, it's broken. You have people who have agendas doing simple community tasks. And then the agenda has nothing to do with taking care of people. It's about looking good in front of the camera. So the whole society.
Say that one again.
I mean, and that's what it is. I mean, I've seen it just because, like, my thing was when I first got out the military, it's like, you know what, I want to still do for my country, but I'm gonna start in my community. And no matter what you do, there's corruption throughout the whole process, from the top to the bottom, from the bottom to the top. So it's like we got to take care of each other, and there's only a few of us where we got to. And I say it's almost like again going back to science fiction movies. We're living in the times of The Walking Dead. If you don't band together with the right people, you're not going to make it. So that's just my little 2 cents.
Okay.
But again, this one was kind of like this was kind of, I wish we could spend a little more time with it, but we're going to let this one go. And I guess next week we'll go and we're going to do a little bit better. I guess we need to focus on a title for next week, so we all can come in a little bit more and have a little bit more pinpoint information on it to make, because this was a good topic, but man, it's a big topic.
Yes.
We can get this thing from far, and just looking at all the different things that we talked about. We talked about mental. I mean, guns. There's a lot that ties into guns, and we could have it's like about at least 200 categories on how we could have gone about talking about guns.
So what did y'all think about the chat thing by Fridays, putting ideas in there and then voting, and then that way you have your weekend to kind of, if you want to go over stuff, and then
I think that's a good idea.
Yeah, I think that's good. I was
idea.
just gonna say that by Friday we should have everybody should. I think we can all just put some stuff in the suggestion box, and then we'll figure out which topic we're gonna talk about.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
I think we should talk about how they put the holes in the donuts.
That might help some people. Well, that might help some people fill up
why
some
do you
holes
call
in their
them
life.
holes and they don't have a hole in them?
Wait, hey, look, Tisha, the last time we talked, Mario was talking about the fries. Tomorrow, you can shake them fries. It was so fun. It was funny. I'm just saying you had to be there, but.
I like the hole in the donut thing, because if you
Oh Lord.
look, because that's what a lot of people do, and they got a hole right in the middle of their life.
I can't figure out how I got there.
No, and they don't want to hear the truth. So
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
All right.
I'll put my little suggestion out there before Friday, and then. Sorry, I was a little late today, you guys. Sorry.
Oh, no, you're
It's
fine.
okay.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, have
All
a
right.
good night.
But
All
yeah,
right.
we'll do that by Friday, everybody.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Thank you.
This was great.
All right.
Good
We'll see y'all
night.
later.
All
Have a
right.
good evening.
Good night, y'all.
Good
Don't mess with
night.
my fries.
Don't worry, it's good.